Hey, welcome back to Cooking with Ro, and welcome to the first week of December, the last month of this very bizarre year. There are plenty of exciting things in store for this December, and for the first time, I opened up an online shop for my photography and art. So if you'd like to check that out, go to redbubble.com/people/Alquatica/shop. I'll place a link in the description box below. I've been wanting to open up an online shop for years now, but I've also been a little too shy or busy, so I finally got around to it. And it would mean the world to me if you checked it out. Today I've got something I've been working on for a bit. Japanese-styled fluffy pancakes. Now these can be a little bit tricky because there's a little bit of technique in them, but I assure you after watching this video, you're gonna get them right. Keep in mind that some people when they make these use a metal mold, and this one we're not gonna be using one, but you can if you want to make them higher and fluffier. This recipe is going to yield you about 9 small, medium-sized fluffy pancakes. To begin, we're going to use 6 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 2/3 teaspoons of baking powder, a pinch of salt, 4 tablespoons of sugar, 4 tablespoons of milk, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of honey. You're going to want one that's a bit more on the liquidy, syrupy side, not the solid one. A dash of vanilla paste or extract, and 4 eggs. We're going to separate the egg whites from the egg yolks and end up using 4 egg whites and only 2 of the egg yolks. Alright, now let's begin. To start, we're going to be making the whipped butter and honey that's going to go on our pancakes afterwards. You're going to add 1 tablespoon of honey to 2 tablespoons of room temperature butter and whisk it well. And set it aside to be used later. Now we're going to separate our 4 eggs, separating the egg whites into one bowl and the egg yolks into another. Since we only need 2 egg yolks, I'm going to separate these for later, store them in the fridge. Now on to the meringue. You're going to want to whisk your egg whites on low until they start making a foam. Then add the sugar in 2 stages. Whisk until the sugar dissolves. Then increase the speed to high. Whisk until stiff peaks form. The key to successful fluffy pancakes are making a very stiff meringue. Let's test if it's ready by using the spoon trick. Scoop up a bit of the meringue. If it doesn't fall off of it, then it's done. Let's move on to the batter. We're going to whisk our 2 egg yolks with 2 tablespoons of sugar quite well until it starts to become pale. Take note of the color difference and how pale these eggs have gotten. Now we're going to add the milk and vegetable oil in 2 to 3 stages. Whisk well each time. I prefer to whisk it as such, placing half of the milk, so 2 tablespoons of milk, whisking, 1 tablespoon of oil, whisking after that, and repeating that process twice. Now onto our dry ingredients. So using a sifter, we're going to sift together the flour and baking powder. I also like to separate this into 2 stages by separating 3 tablespoons, mixing it, and then adding the remaining 3 tablespoons of flour. Remember, you're only adding a little bit, just 2/3 of a teaspoon of baking powder. Now that we've mixed in our dry ingredients, it's time to add a pinch of salt, as well as a dash of vanilla extract or paste. Now it's time to assemble this. Add a scoop of meringue into the batter and whisk it well until it's combined. The first scoop of meringue is called a sacrifice meringue. It makes it easier and faster to mix it. Now we're going to add the rest of the meringue in 2 stages and mix it until just combined with a whisk. We're using a whisk here instead of a spatula like most people use. The reason why is if you use a spatula, it takes more time to fold your meringue into the batter. And there's going to be higher chance that you're going to deflate the meringue by the motion of scooping the mixture and folding it up over and over. On the other hand, a whisk cuts the meringue into pieces and distributes it evenly into the mixture without deflating it. But in any case, please don't overmix it. Otherwise, your pancake will turn out flat. Place your pan on the stove. Heat it to medium-low and grease it with butter. Ladle on the mixture, cover it with a lid, and cook it for 3 minutes on each side. You could also use metal ring molds to make them taller, so that way they expand upwards. Once you flip them over on the other side, cook it for 2 to 3 minutes. If you touch the center and you see that it bounces back, then they're done. And there you have it, Japanese-style fluffy pancakes using meringue. For the final touches, we're going to dress these with our honeyed butter that we mixed earlier and some maple syrup. I hope you enjoyed this week's video as much as I did. If you did, please give it a like and hit the subscribe button for more. As well as if you'd like any more behind the scenes footage or any of my other artistic works, follow me on social media at Alquatica. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And again, just opened up a Redbubble shop account, which you can find in the link in the description box below. It took me a few weeks to figure out how to make these properly, so don't fret if the first time you make them they're not perfect. In the end, this recipe is absolutely delicious and spongy. So sit down and have a bite with me. See you next time. Ciao.